In electrostatics, we study the electrical interactions between the charges which are at rest. Let us consider 2 point charges which are placed like this in vacuum. Let us say the charges are Q1 and Q2 and the separation between them is R. The electrical force of interaction between these two charges is found to be directly proportional to the product of the charges. So F is directly proportional to Q1, Q2. And it is also found that it is inversely proportional to square of the separation between the point charges. So by clubbing these two relations, we can get F is directly proportional to Q1, Q2 by R square. And if I remove this proportionality symbol, I have to put a constant, and finally this expression is written as F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square. Here K is the proportionality constant and the value of K is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Here this epsilon naught is called free space permittivity, and the value of this K is K equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, that is 9 into 10 power 9 SI units. 9 into 10 power 9 SI units. This is the value of K, the proportionality constant. And this is valid for point charges which are separated by some distance in vacuum or air. If they are separated by some distance or in any medium, then the expression would be different. Let us consider 2 point charges Q1 and Q2 separated by distance R in a medium. Then the force of interaction between these two charges is F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught K Q1 Q2 by R square. Or here this epsilon naught K is written as epsilon, which is called permittivity. This is called permittivity of the medium. Permittivity of medium. And K is called dielectric constant of the medium. This K is dielectric constant. Dielectric constant of the medium in which the point charges are placed. And this is a dimensionless quantity. Its value lies between 1 and infinity. If you take air or free space, the value of K is 1. Then the formula for force between two point charges at rest in vacuum is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. If you take conductor, for conductor the dielectric constant is infinity. So if you take 2 point charges separated by distance R in a conductor, then the force between those two charges will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught infinity Q1 Q2 by R square, that is 0. That means if you take 2 point charges separated by some distance in conductor, then there is no force of interaction on each particle. Now, here it is strictly valid for point charges. If we take extended objects, for extended charged objects, we cannot use this formula directly. This is strictly valid for point charges separated by some distance, and the charges should be at rest. Or out of these two particles, at least one particle should be at rest, if not both. If both particles are moving, then the force of interaction between them will not be this one. Let us see this formula, the Coulomb's law in vector form. Suppose this is the charge which is Q1 and this is the particle Q2. I want to see force exerted by Q1 on Q2. So Q1 is force exerting particle, Q2 is force experiencing particle. Then I am giving a vector from force exerting particle to force experiencing particle, and this vector is r bar. This r bar is position vector of force experiencing particle with respect to force exerting particle. Then magnitude wise, already we have seen, let us say they are placed in vacuum, then the force of interaction between them is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. And in vector form we are writing now. This is the magnitude of force between them. So vector wise if you write, F vector is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square into r cap. When we multiply this value with unit vector, magnitude is not getting changed, but we are adding direction. So now this is the force acting on q2 due to the presence of q1 in vector form. We can also write this expression as F bar is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r cube into r vector. This is the Coulomb's law in vector form. And here we can see that if q1 q2 both are positive, then you will get the force along the direction of r bar. That means if these two are positive charges, this particle exerts the force on this particle along the direction of position vector r bar. That means that is force of repulsion. If these two are negative, let us say both are negative charges, so negative negative, so minus into minus, that is positive. So force is along the direction of r bar again. That means if both the particles are of negative charge, then this particle exerts force on this particle along the direction of r bar. So again the force is repulsion, repulsive force. Suppose this is positive, this is negative, then positive into negative, then you will get negative quantity. So force is opposite to the direction of r bar. So the force acting on this particle is opposite to r bar. That means the force on q2 is in this direction, which is nothing but force of attraction. And if I take this one minus this one plus, or this one plus this one minus, then total is negative. Force is opposite to r bar. That means like charges they repel each other, and opposite charges they attract each other. That complete information is there in this Coulomb's law in vector form. So F bar is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r cube into r bar. Let us say that there are 3 point charges of charge q each. They are placed at the vertices of an equilateral triangle. So the charge of each particle is taken as q. Let us call this particle as A, this is B, this is 3. These 3 particles are at rest. Side of this triangle is A. So as it is equilateral triangle, each side is, let us say, length is A. I want to see how much force the particle A is experiencing. You know that B exerts the force on A in this direction because they are like charges, they repel each other, and C also exerts the force on A in this direction. Now we are going to see what is the resultant force acting on particle A by the particles B and C. For this, let us draw the triangle once again with the charge A, and charge B exerts the force in this direction because they are like charges, they repel each other, and the force on A is along this direction, the extension of this line. This is the force on A due to B. In the same way, C also exerts force on A in this direction. This is the direction of force on A due to C. This is equilateral triangle, so this angle is 60, so this is also 60 degrees. And these two forces, they are equal in magnitude, and the magnitude wise if you see, the force on A due to C is equal to force on A due to B is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2, so it becomes q square by A square. This is the force acting on A due to B and due to C. Now the resultant force we want. Let us say this value is F. F equal to FAC equal to FAB equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q square by A square. Now the net force on A is net force on A is, let us say, F net. This is equal to, these two forces are acting on A with angle 60 degree between them. So under root A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. This is what I am writing here. This is parallelogram law of vector addition, and this is under root 2F square plus 2F square into 1 by 2, and you will get here root 3 into F. Here 2 gets cancelled, 2F square plus F square, root 3F. And from here we can write the final expression as root 3 into the force exerted by each particle B or C on A is, on this particle, the force exerted by each other particle is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q square by A square. This is the net force acting on the particle A.